Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In this podcast, we're going to talk about the psychological reasons why many people fail at their New Year's resolutions. In the last podcast, we talked about how Islam, or any religion sent by God, the Creator, Allah, in its true form, is very close to the psychology, the human nature of mankind. And that's why I want to understand from a psychological perspective what are the reasons why people fail at their New Year's resolutions. So, as we all know, it can be challenging to stick to our resolutions and achieve our goals. But why is this the case? From a psychological perspective, there are a few common reasons why people may struggle with their New Year's resolutions. First, lack of self esteem and self awareness can be a challenge. Sometimes we may set goals that are not aligned with our values, interests, or strength. This can lead to lack of motivation and lack of satisfaction when we achieve our goals. It's important to reflect on what is truly important to us and set goals that align with our values and passion. And this really directly goes with the earlier discussions that we had, that we have to first identify our values and principles on which we want to set the goals. Secondly, lack of self control can be a factor. Research has shown that self control is a limited resource, and when we try to exert too much of self control in one area of our lives, it can drain our ability to exert self control in other areas. This can make it more challenging to stick to our resolutions. One way to increase our self control is by establishing good habits that support our goals. And I'll talk about an example in this regard is when you have your cell phone lying on the table and it's fully charged and it has internet connection and everything is there, then you're keeping yourself away from holding it up and watching something on Facebook or YouTube. You're exerting your self control and you're diminishing that capital that you have of self control. Whereas if you do not have that cell phone on your table, it's in the other room, or it has on the table and there's no battery, or it is somewhere where you cannot access it readily, or there is no internet connection, you do not have to exert as much self control, because in order to go look at the phone, you would have to go to the other room, you would have to open the phone, you would have to charge the phone, you have to do other things that would automatically dissuade you from spending your capital on doing that work. As a result, you will not do it in the first place, so you will not be spending so much of your self control in that process. Now, that being said, it is important to know that self control is a limited commodity and we should exert it where it is really needed. So, the key is to have a good habit of not having your phone in front of you when you're working on something really focused. Third aspect is negative self talk can be a roadblock. Our inner dialogue can have a big impact on our ability to stick to our resolutions. If we have negative thoughts about ourselves or our abilities or our values, it can undermine our motivation and confidence. It's important to recognize negative self-talk and reframe it in a more positive and supportive way. Now, when you realize that you come across negative thought, for example, oh, this is out of my control, or I cannot do this, or I failed it at it so many times, you can do it slightly differently. I can do it when I have this, or I will do it even though I have been struggling in this area, and so on and so forth. So, framing it positively really improves that aspect. And lastly, lack of intrinsic motivation can be a challenge. External rewards and incentives can be helpful in motivating us to achieve our goals, but they're not always enough. If we don't have strong sense of why our goals are important to us and how they will benefit us personally, how they will benefit the community, how they will benefit the society, it can be harder to stay motivated and committed. It's important to tap into our intrinsic motivations and find ways to connect our goals to our values and passions. And this could be done by focusing on what is the bigger vision, what is the bigger picture. Sometimes you might want to watch a motivational movie. Sometimes, if you're working on religious aspect, you want to watch 10 commandments of how Moses took the Bani Israel out of the clutches of the Pharaoh. What happened, what motivated Prophet Isa to give everything up, what caused Prophet Muhammad and his household to sacrifice everything, and for what cause. And these are some of the motivations that we can get. So by recognizing these common challenges and finding ways to overcome them, we can increase our chances of success and make progress towards our New Year's resolutions. This may involve seeking the support of a therapist, uh, or other mental health professionals, establishing good habits, practicing positive self talk, and tapping into our intrinsic motivation that really allows us to be focused and to deliver what we have committed. I hope and pray that we are able to address these concerns, because when they arrive very subtly. And we're going to talk about what causes these subtle anomalies which result in these behaviors. Assalamu alaikum. We'll connect in the next episode, and we're going to talk about uh, a person who has been trying to use New Year's resolution but keeps failing. What are the causes? Thank you.